In the past, I talked about how to paint an image on a 3D model using an external tool such as Photoshop or GIMP. However, I realized that I never talked about painting on an object directly in Blender. I also couldn't find an up-to-date and straightforward video that discusses the matter, so in this video that's exactly what I will be doing. So here's my Blender open. I'm currently using version 4.4. I've already imported my model, which is the model of the charm from Counter-Strike 2. I'll head to the Texture Paint tab. And here we'll find our model in pink. And the pink color tells us that the texture assigned to the model doesn't have an image which will contain our paintings. So first thing we need to do is to create an image. We do so by going to the texture slot section at the top and clicking on the plus sign. And now we get a list which contains types of images we can create. For now, we'll only paint colors on the model, so let's choose base color. In the dialog we can set some important settings that will define our image. I will leave the name of the image as it is, but you can change it to something more meaningful, especially if you're going to create more than one coloring image for any reason. Then we have the resolution of the image, which in my case I will set to 2048 by 2048. And finally, I'll jump to the color section. Whatever color you choose here will be the starting color of the image. For this demonstration, I'll set the color to green and hit the Add button. I will also change the view to Material Preview since we can see the changes done to the model better that way. And now we can see that the object has turned to green. We can also see that on the left we have a green image as well. This is the image we've just created, and it will be the 2D representation of our 3D model. We can see all sorts of shapes in the image. This is called the UV sheet of the model, which again is a 2D representation of the object. In my case, I got the UV sheet ready with the model because I wasn't the one to create it. But if you're creating the model from scratch, then you will need to do something called UV unwrapping before you paint. However, this is a different topic and won't talk about it in this video. Let's head to the Shading tab for a quick moment. Here we can see little windows called nodes, which define in the background how the texture of our model looks. When we created the green image a moment ago, Blender created this node for us and connected it to the base color of this node here, which is called a shader. We will not dwell too much on the node setting in this video in order to keep things as simple as possible, but it is important to know what's going on here. Okay, let's go back to the Texture Paint tab. We can already start drawing on the model by pressing the left mouse button. So basically our work is done. However, we have many available settings and it's worth going over the important ones. First, let's start with the size of the brush. We can control the size either by pressing F and moving the mouse left and right, or we can use the radius value at the top and set the amount of pixels we want. And if we reduce the size of the brush, we can have better control of what we draw. Next, let's take a look at the color picker section. The left color is the active one that will be used by the brush. If we click on it, we can change the color to whatever we want. You can raise the value to get more color options. You can also switch between the two colors either by pressing X or by pressing on this button. And again, you can change the color of this one as well. Now let's jump to the stroke section. Here we can decide how to draw. Currently, the stroke method is set to space, which allows us to draw freely. I won't discuss all the options, but it's worth checking out two more useful ones. And we'll start with the line method. As the name tells us, with this method we can draw straight lines by pressing at one point and releasing at another. You can also lock the angle by pressing the Alt button after pressing the left mouse button. Another useful option is the curve, which allows us to draw Bezier curves on the model. In order to create a curve, first you need to click on the New button. Then you need to create the nodes of the curve, which can be done by pressing the Ctrl and right mouse buttons. If you want to curve the path, then drag the mouse while pressing the Ctrl and right mouse buttons. And when you're done, press Enter and the path will be drawn. For the remainder of the video, I'll go back to using the space method. Now let's move on to the Falloff section. This section defines how the lines of our drawings will look like. You can either use one of the available presets in the list, some of them also appear here, or you can create your own. You can clearly see the difference between the brushes depending on the preset we choose. You should choose the Falloff depending on what you need to draw. Not far from the Falloff, we'll find the Options section, and we'll focus on the two available checkboxes. I won't complicate things by explaining what exactly is the meaning behind each one of them. All you need to know is that if you disable the checkboxes, then whatever you draw on one side of the model will appear on the other side. This is useful if you want to maintain symmetry when you draw. For example, if I want to draw ears for our little fellow here, then I can only draw it once and it will appear on both sides of the model. Now let's go back all the way to the texture section above. In this section, I will only talk about the stencil mapping option. This option allows you to draw external images onto your model. I guess the best way to explain it is through a demonstration. First, I'll click on the New button. Then, I'll press on this button here, which will allow me to choose my texture, or in my case, the image that I want to draw. By default, the type is set to image, so I can go ahead and press open and choose my image, which in my case will be a star shape that I prepared ahead of time. We can see in the preview that the image is repeating itself. If you don't want that, you can change it by expanding the mapping section and in the extension field, choose clip. Going back to the Tools tab, we see that the star has been loaded in the texture. And if we hover over the 3D area, we'll see the stencil in the shape of our image. You can move the stencil around by pressing the right mouse button, and you can resize it by pressing Shift and the right mouse button. You can also rotate the stencil by pressing Ctrl and the right mouse button. And when you draw, simply draw inside the stencil. Last option we'll discuss is the paint mask, which is this button over here. This option allows us to specify the faces on which we can draw. For example, let's go to the Edit tab, then choose the selection to faces, and let's choose these faces in the middle. I'll press Tab again to go back, and press on the Paint Mask button. And now we can see that besides the faces we chose, the rest of the model has been grayed out. And if I draw, only the selected faces will be drawn on, and the rest won't be affected. Since the beginning of the video, we've been drawing colors, but we can also draw other stuff, like bumps for example. Let's go back to the texture slots and create a new image, but this time we'll choose bump instead of the base color. Again, you can rename the image if you want, but for me, I'll just set my resolution to 2048 by 2048, keep the color as it is, and press Add. Let's go back to the Shading tab to see what happened now. So now we can see that two new nodes have been created, the new Material Bump image and another node called Bump, which allows the image to be connected to the normal field of the shader. And with this setting, if we go back to the Texture Paint tab, I can change the colors to white, black or gray and start drawing. I will change the Falloff to a smoother brush to see the effect clearer. A very important note is to save your images as you draw. It is not enough to save the Blender session. You need to save the images as well. Otherwise, if you close the Blender session, then you will lose your work. In order to save the images, you go to the image section over here and press save or save as. The star next to the word image indicates that the current image has been modified and needs to be saved. And I guess that's a good place to end the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and check out my YouTube membership perks, which will help you become a better CS Skin creator. Until next time, take care and see you soon.